on, guys? We are back and we are doing another video. So sorry, I kind of lost track of my intro thoughts there. Anyways, today is kind of step one-ish for going with the larger tires on my Tacoma. So obviously a couple other videos, you've probably seen them. I bought a set of 5 tires off of a fellow Overlander, and these are the Yokohama Geolander MTs, which are super dope. They have a decent amount of tread life left. For reference, this is a completely untouched tire, brand new. This one's never seen the ground, and then this one is one of the used ones. So they're used. They're probably about halfway through their tread life. I don't know. I'm really excited though, because those are 35s. The ones that I currently have on the truck are 32s on full tread life-ish. So it's gonna be quite the upgrade. Sorry, there is a cardinal that is sitting on my mailbox. It's pretty cool looking. Anyways, so there's a few things that need to get done in order to put 35s on a 3rd gen Toyota Tacoma. And we're gonna do one of them today. Not all of them are gonna be in this video. This one is gonna be very specific, and then the next video in the series we'll be doing something else, and I'll kind of mention that. But today's video, we have to chop our body mount. So this right here, this is the front body mount, right? I'm on the driver's side of the truck. And if we look right here, massive freaking thing. So I'm gonna have to take off my fenders. Unfortunately, I won't be able to run fenders with the new tires because they're just too big. And then we're gonna have to chop off a solid, I don't know, 1/2 inch to 1 inch of the front body mount. So we're gonna do that. And then this right here, this pinch weld, this is gonna have to get hammered in. So from starting up here all the way down to the bottom, we're just gonna take a hammer to it until it folds itself over and is nice and flat against the cab itself, the firewall. And then we're going to possibly hammer down in this corner backwards and in a little bit more in order to give us more clearance on that side. This wind is insane. I really hope that you're not picking this up on the camera. But yeah, so that's what we're doing today, is we're chopping it, we're hammering it, and then I have little plates that I'm gonna be welding in place in order to seal this off. Now, it is hollow. I could stick my finger up inside of the mount, and as you see when we cut it off, it'll look like that. But it's not necessary to weld this additional plate on there. A lot of people don't do it. I don't necessarily know if welding a new plate in place really makes it that much stronger, but because it's there already, I figured that I don't want to reduce the durability of my body mounts by leaving a massive hole in the side of it. So I'm going to weld a new plate on, make it a little bit more strong, and then yeah, that's going to be the video. Also, sorry for being kind of hyperactive sounding. I think I sound like that. I have no idea. But it's a little chilly out here this morning, and I'm in a t-shirt and shorts, so I'm talking really fast so I can go inside and put some warmer clothes on. So I'm gonna go do that, and then we're gonna get the taco pulled in, start smacking. This is actually a great opportunity. Well, kind of. I don't have my lug nuts tightened, but you can kind of yank on the suspension components and feel if there's any sort of grinding or shaking or something, and just the general health of your front end suspension and drivetrain just by shaking the wheel around a little bit. So it's a great time once again, a little inspection, yanking on the sway bar, yanking on the tie rod, upper and lower control arms, just kind of moving things around. And granted, there's not a whole lot that you're going to be able to do with your own humanly strength. But if you feel like there's a problem, you can grab a pry bar, like right in here, pushing on whatever the bump stop in order to test out your control arm bushings and stuff like that. Another great thing to do, go ahead and look at your brakes and see kind of how they're doing. Obviously, I've got plenty of life left on this one, but for some reason they're wearing a bit, oops, sorry. For some reason they're wearing a bit unevenly. So you see this outboard brake pad has less life than the inboard. I don't know exactly what causes that, but it's something for me to look into in the future. We're gonna go ahead and pop off our fenders. We're gonna say goodbye to the fenders. I'd like to say that I can keep my little foamy here. I don't really know entirely why Toyota put those there. It's on both sides, and I'm assuming it's just sound isolation that's coming, because the inside of the door right here going into the cab obviously is right there, and there's a whole lot of road noise from the tires. So I'd like to keep that there if I can. So we're gonna go ahead and pull off these fenders. It should be 3 10mm bolts, and then it'll fall right off. And then I get to hammer this pinch weld down. These little clips right here, if you guys don't have your fender liners in like I do, literally you can pop a, I want to say it's like an 8mm or a 10mm socket on the back, and it'll push in these two little clips. So it'll push in these two little clips that are on the side there. You see the little triangles, and then that'll release them. For those of you that have not removed your inner fender liners, you're going to have to do that. It's pretty painful because you have clips just like this one. There's one here, there's one here, which you have to go into the engine bay in order to remove. One here, and then there's a couple of them that run along the inside of the fender. You can kind of see one right there, and then of course you have these bolts, and then your mud flaps are also going to be holding the inner fenders in place. Now that's just on the passenger side. The driver's side, they're in the same location, but they're a little bit more difficult to get to. Obviously I took mine out in a different video, so if you want to know how to remove those, I may have touched on it a little bit more in the video where I installed my snorkel, the uptake, but it's really not too hard. Since you're replacing them, it doesn't really matter. You can just yank on them until they come out and call it a day. So that's what I did. I ripped them out, I threw them away. That's what you should do too. So now that we have the fender out, this is that pinch weld that I'm talking about. It runs all the way down to here. And a lot of people will end up banging this little portion of the body in further. It really just depends if I end up rubbing or not. I'm not going to do that now because that's a lot of work, and this is solid freaking steel. But I am going to hammer this pinch weld over, which, as you can see me pushing on it, that does not move very easily. This little tab does, but the weld does not. So this is going to suck. That's okay. And then you can see the body mount pretty clearly here. I'm going to go pretty much, I'm going to chop off this entire corner over here, and then up, kind of tucking up underneath this the body mount bushing right here, and then probably end somewhere along right there. I don't have the plates yet, so I'm going to do a conservative chop, and then when I can kind of see the sizing of the plates, I can angle it out a little bit more. But yeah, there's a better view from the bottom. You can see it is indeed hollow. It's just structural support is the reason why I want to weld on the new plates right there. Cool, so I got that pinch weld all hammered down. As I already said, this is a lot thicker down here than it is up here. So on the other side, I started on the bottom, and it made this area look a little bit smoother. Not as much of a change, but once again, it doesn't really matter because it's gonna get ripped up by tire. Well, hopefully not ripped up by a tire, but it's gonna get covered by a tire, so you're really not gonna see it all that much. And then here's the other side, still drying. It's not as flat on the bottom. I was hammering it a lot, but I couldn't seem to flatten this area out as much. But yeah, you can see it's a much smoother transition through here. Oh, heck yes, my dudes. There we have it. These are our weld-on plates from Relentless Fabrication. Man, these are beefy, a little heavy. It's nice. So we got ourselves a sticker, of course, and then our two 1/8" steel plates, which is dope. These say 16 plus on it, whatever that means. And these look like they're just laser cut, which is dope. So basically this is going to end up chopping right in here somewhere. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it, but got to figure that out. So like I said, I'm probably going to end up chopping right along this edge here and trying to push it pretty much as flush with the curvature of the body as I can, and that's what's gonna have to happen. So I'm gonna go at it with an angle grinder and be sad for a few days, and then I'll get over it because I have big tires. Quick fitment test. Whoop. Well, I was gonna try to stuff the tire up a little bit, but I forgot. My suspension is beef. So anyways, I'm gonna look over here. I don't know if I showed you. So with the Weld-On plates, the body mount only needs to be cut about that far. And I was trying to think of whether or not I'm gonna need to cut it further on whether or not, you know, when the tire goes in. But in all reality, I don't think I'm gonna have to, because looking at it right now, I already have probably about a finger and a half worth of clearance once I put the Weld-On plate in there. And then the edge of the tire, which is gonna be the furthest out portion, doesn't come anywhere near this part. So I think I'm gonna leave this alone, and I'm gonna weld along this edge here, and it'll be okay. Check that out, dudes. Oh, it's gonna look so good. Those tires are freaking massive. Oh man, I love it. Sneak peek to the future vid. Well, that is an absolute success, and I think it looks super sick. I was a little difficult to get started on the cutting. I don't know exactly how much I filmed on the cutting. I'm sorry, this has been a multiple hour process. But basically, when I took my angle grinder, I came in at like a 45-degree angle in order to get this top portion cut off right there. And then the sides here, I smacked the pin or the metal right along here a couple of times, so it's a little messed up. Not too worried about it though, because all this is going to get cut anyways. And then of course the bottom you can just kind of zip. But as you sort of kind of saw, I chopped it in multiple different parts. This is the one that came out last just because of that. Whoop. My camera is slowly falling into the void. So this is the part that I cut off first, and then I cut this one off later, right? Just because of the little box tube right there. And this one just kind of comes off all in one piece. But that's some thick steel right there. That's a lot to cut through. I've never done anything like this before, like really chopping through metal and welding and all that sort of stuff. It's kind of a foreign concept to me. So I was kind of surprised at how difficult, not really, it wasn't difficult, but how long it took to be able to cut through that with my angle grinder. Granted, it's a Cobalt battery operated, 24 volt angle grinder. It's not like an air tool or anything like that. But I'm happy that I had it because, going with the battery one, it's not as powerful. And so it means that I have a little bit more control over what I'm doing. But yeah, for those of you that are wondering, can I do this at home? You 100% can. And oh my God, the magnets, I guess I can kind of show you. The magnets on my mount are just covered in metal shavings. That's hilarious. And the other side is cut. I do need to do a little bit more in the center here because when I put the plate on, it kind of wobbles back and forth. So I'm gonna grind down the center a little bit further like I did on the other side, so it sits a little bit more flush from end to end. But my batteries are dead again, so now I get to wait. But man, do these look sick. So I've got my ground point set up. I've got the area relatively trimmed. I think I'm gonna tack it here and then hammer this over just a little bit. I might hit the angle grinder right there to give me a little more space maybe. That way I don't have to fill in this gap. That's a big gap. But I've got it held down pretty good. I'll show you my ground point if this works. And I've got the welder set up. So per the chart, I'm just going off of mild steel, and I'm pretty sure that it's 100% CO2. So coming over here to the 240 volt for 1/8 inch steel, I've got these settings here, 219 and 3/6. And so I've got my wire speed at 200, I've got the voltage at 19, and then the inductance at 4, and we'll see kind of what that does for me. And now I just need to figure out what to set my gas at. Doing a test tack. Okay. Well, for my first ever weld with a MIG, that actually came out very, very good. Needs to be cleaned up a little bit. You can see a little bit of slag on the outside, but I'll tip tap around it and then I'll give it a quick paint coat. Call it a day. On this side, and we gotta do the other side. See the other side before paint, and I haven't sanded it at all. It's not too bad. Well, we got a fresh coat of paint drying. Looks pretty good if I do say so myself. And it added about a solid 1/4 of an inch, maybe 3/8 of an inch of clearance from a tire, which is freaking awesome. Other side also, not too bad. Well, my dudes, there you have it. That is how you do a body mount chop on a 3rd gen Toyota Tacoma. It was a lot of time. I didn't realize how long it would take to cut through metal. I mean, I knew it was going to take a little while, and you got to take your time so you don't mess it up. But yeah, it took a lot of time in order to cut through it. I wasn't really sure with the first one because I didn't know exactly how far in the bushing and everything was whenever I was hitting it. But welding it back on, that MIG was absolutely incredible. My buddy bought that at Harbor Freight for, like, I don't know. It's probably a $400 setup is what he paid for it. In all reality, it's probably close to $900 to $1,000 setup, which is cheap for a welder. And it performed amazingly, considering I don't know how to weld. Yeah, so there you have it. Pretty quick. Well, not quick, but pretty easy. You can 100% do this in your driveway, in your garage, as you see I did. And that is the second of 4 things that I have to do. I think earlier I said first of 3, but I forgot about the suspension lift, which is kind of the first step to being able to fit 35s. You got to have about a 3-inch lift on your truck. So you got the lift, the body mount shop, the high clearance fender liners, and then the dashboard odometer calibrator. So those are the 4 steps. 2 down, 2 to go, and then we're putting 35s on this guy. So hope you have enjoyed. If you have, please come back and see me again. Follow my journey. This is a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to hitting the trails with some larger tires. It's going to be a lot nicer and a lot smoother. Yeah, with that, see you next time. Minutes on out.